Hello, I'm Florence Klein, and we are going to discover Renato, one of the Mercure HEC nominees for the Europe region. And Renato, you're from Italy. Could you please introduce yourself, give your name, diploma, year, area of expertise?
Thanks, Florence, and nice to meet you, and thanks for your question. My name is Renato GIACOBBO SCAVO. I'm MBA HEC 2000, so quite a long time ago, I have to say. Originally, my background is as an electronic engineer, so I started really doing transistors and stuff like this, and then after the MBA, I moved more to the business world. My main experience, I would say the experience that signed my personal professional background has been working for Bain & Company for 7 years. And there I became an expert of business planning, strategy, and a little bit also of organization. Especially in Italy, I was working for very small and medium companies. That is something very specific of our entrepreneurial landscape.
Okay, very good. And can you explain what you do now? I mean, what your company is about?
Yeah, after my long experience as a strategy consultant, I decided to become an entrepreneur in 2008. I found my first company a little bit as a crazy project because I was completely alone, and I started really from scratch a company in a sector that was growing very fast at that time. That was the electronic payment environment. So today the company would have been called a fintech company. Actually, for me, it was just a little software company developing new way of using credit cards through mobile phone and other means, and helping the banks to launch those new systems. It has been extremely successful. It has been a strange story because I didn't ask for any external equity injection. So I did my company just with my money, and it became profitable very, very quickly. I have to say, very, very lucky. And I sold this company in 2015 to a very big multinational firm. And this was my first, let's say, exit. Now we speak a lot about exits, and this was my first exit. In the meanwhile, considering that the company was already profitable and I was already making some money, I decided to diversify a little bit. So I started being an investor in company in the same field. So I co-founded a company called Domex Solution that was working on the loyalty area of the payment system. So again, a technical thing, very software oriented. And we sold this company to a UK bank in a few years. After that, I said, I want to do something different. I want to start up and participate to a venture in the life science world. This has been always my field of interest, even if when I became an engineer, the biotechnology were not so developed. So I decided to completely change environment, and I co-founded a company called CRESTOPTICS that is actually my current company. I'm the CEO of this company. This company followed a completely different path. It followed a path of let's say, a Silicon Valley startup. So I needed a lot of capital to start it up. I raised this capital, and this company followed all the typical path of a modern startup. So seed capital, venture capital, and now it's owned by a private equity UK fund that owns the majority of this company. So the decision here has to be a founder that at a certain point decided that this company shouldn't be anymore dependent on you. So
yeah,
now I don't have...
You're giving your baby to someone else to let it grow, in fact.
Exactly. So so now I'm a manager. I'm still, of course, owner of a little part of the company, but I started again to being a manager and not anymore a pure entrepreneur. Just to finish, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. No, I was saying, finally, you're a serial entrepreneur, and maybe you can tell us what is the most important quality to be an entrepreneur with all the things you do. I mean, you can give us tips.
Yes. I would say that there are two very important things. The first one is obvious, is to be curious. I've always met people that I wasn't sure that they would have been helpful for my job. But then at the end of the story, many of those meetings were the most important that I had, because, if you're curious, you're open to new ideas, and this is very, very important. And the second one is to be grounded and to recognize the importance of the people and the relationship you have. I mean, companies are made by people. And if you invest the majority of your time in managing the relationship with the people, you get a lot. You cannot be an entrepreneur alone.
You're absolutely right. The team is so important. Can you tell us very quickly what were your motivations to start such a journey as an entrepreneur, or maybe what was your dream?
That's a great question, because since I was a child, everyone was telling me, you want to do things with your friends. And so my dream has always been to have the possibility to work with people I could choose. So to be an entrepreneur often means that you can choose the people you work with, and some of them are often and become often very good friends. So my dream was to work with friends, and I started this journey because I wanted to continue working with friends.
Well, that's a great dream, and a great. And with all that, I mean, do you have any flaws you can talk about?
Well, everyone has a lot of flaws. I'm sometimes a little bit too much a dreamer, and this is something that take you off from being grounded. So my flaws is sometimes to dream too much, and people say, you cannot ask this to us. This is really too far from what we can really do, and sometimes this is a flaw.
Well, to me, it's a quality for an entrepreneur, really, Renato. Thank you so much for sharing with us. And I'm sure this will help the HEC community to discover the person behind the nominee that you are. And once again, congratulations. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Florence. Have a good day.